Good afternoon. How we doing today? And welcome to From His Perspective podcast. I'm your host, Pernell Gates, with my co-host, Lorenzo Reynolds. How we doing, y'all? What's up, my brother?
How's it going, brother?
Good. How you?
Man, well, enjoying the weekend.
Absolutely. Well, we got a great topic today. We're talking about lust. So I'm excited about this topic today. What about you, my brother?
Man, definitely an important conversation to have and
Hmm.
to look at just how lust is more than one thing, the diversity of lust, the power
Yes.
of lust.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, brother, it's definitely a good conversation to have and always an important subject to go back and to learn even more about because I think
Mhm.
the more our knowledge increase, our perspective of what lust is will increase as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Well, my brother, why don't you start us off with the first question, and let's get into this conversation about lust.
Okay, well, today I want to start it off. I'll let you go first. What's your definition of lust? Because it's different definitions within the dictionary and even with our own thought process when we hear the word lust. I know for me, early on, I always thought about sexual lust when I heard of the word lust, but it's so much
Correct,
more than that. So, what's your overall definition?
bro. My overall definition of lust, and I've kind of been thinking about this for a couple of days, and really just came up and said, you know what, the urge to do something or want to do something, or the urge to want something. It's a feeling, it's an urge. And so
Mm.
my definition of lust would be a urge, an uncontrollable feeling,
Control food. Okay.
uncontrollable feeling. So, same question to you, brother. What would
Uh,
your definition of lust be?
my definition of lust is that it's a intense undisciplined craving or desire for anything.
Hmm.
Again, it's undisciplined, it's intense,
Hmm.
and it's a craving for anything you lust for it. And so I broke it down to a few departments. It could
Hmm.
be emotional, it could be
Okay.
physical,
Hmm.
and you can even have some spiritual lust. So once you look at the different categories, I think it help you to better understand how you're dealing with it or not.
Excuse me 1 second. Can you repeat your definition just one more time? I just need to make sure I heard you correctly.
My definition of lust is that it's an intense, undisciplined craving or desire for anything.
Mhm. Yeah, I thought so. I disagree with you. I just wanted to make sure before we start the day off like this that I
That
disagree
you
with you.
disagree with my definition.
Yes.
And so, I've learned over the course of working with you for 4 years,
Mhm.
that's one of your favorite lines is I disagree
Because
without even knowing what you disagree to.
brother,
That's your
when you're
safety net when you don't know. It's
okay,
kind of like a kid being in a classroom that
mhm,
don't understand and they just say, I disagree. So I've learned not to allow that to take my attention. So
I, I'm
basically, no, I ain't done. Basically, my conversation gonna be to the people today and not to you.
okay,
Because
okay,
if I focus on you, brother, I lose sight of what the purpose is. So what I'm basically trying to say is you toxic. That's
okay.
it.
I would just tell the people that that was a poor definition, and we
Of course, you're
again,
gonna say anything that's
again,
extracted out of education is a poor definition. It was
again, we're
actually better than
gonna
yours,
run.
but we got a show to do, and I don't want to get caught
Okay,
on
okay.
the small
I
road
don't want to get
bumps.
caught up on it either, so let's
Yeah,
go.
we're not gonna get caught on the road
So,
bumps.
um, exp- um, give me a little detail about why um, that's your definition.
I said intense and I said undisciplined
Mhm.
because lust don't come from God. Lust of the eye, lust of the flesh, and the pride of life don't come from God. So oftentimes lust require you to be undisciplined.
That's the
And
part that
so
I know you
yeah.
repeated because that's the part I have an issue with. But go ahead.
So because most of the time it's an undisciplined craving,
Hmm.
what it's going to do is it's going to take away from your focus.
Okay.
The way I look at us as people is we're supposed to be more spiritual than we are natural.
Hmm.
So we're supposed to live like a supernatural life first and then natural. So
Sure.
I think lust is really that kryptonite that stop you from being the best version of yourself that you could be. If you
Mhm.
didn't have this kryptonite called lust, you would be a lot more focused. If we didn't have this kryptonite called lust, we would want love for the right reason. We would want to do the many things that we do for the right reason versus it being selfish or it being for attention or it being even for the feeling of sexual lust.
Sure.
A lot of times when you think about sexual lust, it's the act of sex that's committed without the commitment
Sure.
of marriage.
Mhm.
And so what happens is you saying, I want to have this feeling, but I
Mhm.
don't want to go through the right process of marrying this person and having this spiritual bond and this covenant that we said we would do right by each other by God. So lust is that shortcut. So that's why I say it's intense and it's undisciplined and
Mhm.
it's a craving and it's very real. But
Sure.
if we don't understand how to battle it, if we
Mhm.
don't understand measures to take, then we'll put lust in the driver's seat, and it was never supposed to be in the driver's seat.
Okay. So, my brother, um, I look at it and um, lust can be disciplined and lust can be undisciplined. It can be both. And to put that as a definition and just say undisciplined, because again, um, I lust my wife. I have a lust for her, and that's discipline. And I'm
Mhm.
supposed to lust her, and I'm supposed to want her in that way, and I want her to want me like that. And to look at it as a negative, as a complete, your definition of it is this is negative and this is not a good thing. I don't think that's correct because, again, I think it can be bad if you're doing it um, out of marriage or out of the wrong context of what you're
Mhm.
supposed to be doing it as. But lust is not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? All the
So
time.
I can agree. I agree with that.
Please don't
Um,
agree with me today. Please don't. Please don't. And
so again, let's
don't
make it
try to
make
change your
sense.
definition,
So
please.
sociology teaches that no one thing is the same for everything, right? And so
Mhm.
being that one thing is not the same for everything, you do have your situations where lust is actually needed.
Mhm.
So lust is it's a fire. When the
Sure.
fire is used the right way in the stove, when the fire is used the right way in the fireplace, when the fire is used the right way to keep you warm, it's a beautiful thing. But
Absolutely.
oftentimes that fire get out of hand and it's not that.
Mhm.
So what you're doing is you're speaking to the tenth that's not bad and I guess that's your
No,
style
you know,
of teaching because
I
again you're
think when we
toxic.
say when we
But
say
yeah, lust
this is the
lust can be a
definition,
good thing, but for the
but when
purpose
we
of this
say this is a
conversation, we're talking
definition
about the
of it,
challenges of
and
it.
we're saying when we're saying definition, my definition of this word, right? And we don't mention
Mhm.
both, or we don't say that, I think we're incorrect because again, you'll have someone and say this is so kind of saying definition. The definition of it is this is the gospel. This is what it is, right? And not explaining the other side or giving the other side, I think that would be um, kind of gross in definition, so to say, because someone can be say, "Oh, am I doing something wrong because I'm lusting my wife or I'm lusting this?" Because if we look up the definition and they're doing everything or feeling everything that that word lust is, right? And to just hear your definition outright and say that, um, I just wouldn't. I don't think that's fair because if we're saying something and we're giving a definition of something, I
Mhm.
think we have to be fair and say my definition is this, and it can be this, this, and this, right?
Right. So I had a list of definitions to pick from scholars. And that was my definition from a scholar that's,
Okay. Well,
that
you
went
and
to
the
school
scholar
for
wrong.
that. And you're not a scholar. So
You
if
and the
if you
scholar.
want to spend your time on the show talking about a
But,
definition
no,
that
we
I
can move
picked
on. We
versus
can move
what
on.
it overall means, that's what it means. But I think I'm gonna go with the scholar over
Okay.
Pernell Maurice any time of the day. So
And you
again,
and the scholar is wrong. But
that's your choice. I chose to pick the definition that I felt
okay.
that closely matched.
So
And again, that wasn't per se my definition. That was a scholarly definition. And
okay.
so
Well, I need.
when we use more than Google for our research, then we have more things to put together than just the one that Google gonna give you. So that's kind of what that is.
If that's how you feel, it
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. That's why I said it. That's exactly how.
I'm giving you definition from my heart and my perspective, and
Well,
and
please don't.
you
Please
bring
don't.
somebody else perspective
Yeah, yeah. So
in.
I've read many of them, and that's the one that I consider to lead with. And so, it's so much to unpack. So what I want to
No,
do is I
let's get
want
it.
to
Let's
I
get it.
want to unpack this.
Let's get it, my brother. Let's get it. So, my brother, when it comes to this thing called lust, um, give give me your opinion. In what ways do you feel it's appropriate to lust someone?
To lust for someone,
Mhm.
you can have a strong desire for them. I think it has to be in proper context of I want to marry them more than I just want them physically. I think if you lead with that physical and not because you want that person's spirit and for the two to become one, I think you could be out of pocket. So I think that's where the trouble come in at. A lot of times is we out of pocket, and if you put lust in the driver's seat when it was never supposed to be in the driver's seat, is it a part of us? Absolutely. It's a part of us that we need. If you don't have a strong desire, like you said, for your wife, you're going to be in trouble. If you don't have a strong desire for your goals, you're going to be in trouble. But
Mhm.
it's only when that strong desire comes at a point where it's leading you more than you having a pure heart and good intentions. That's when you begin to get in trouble, because I think oftentimes, brother, things are going to be took to the balance and scales of life. And in the process of doing things, this balance and scales of life is there's ever a false balance. Proverbs 9:11 and 1. I'm sorry. If there's ever a false balance, then it's going to be an abomination to the Lord. So you got to look at the balance of why you're doing what you're doing in order to get to the right conclusion, the right results. You got to make sure that you're doing it for the right reason. And lust could be that thing that blinds us, and lust could be that thing that stop us from hearing and stop us from seeing and things like that.
Bro, I was asking um, pretty much what's a positive for lust that you would see, that you would. And the reason why I ask that is I think, bro, we're having this conversation. People look at this word and think it's a negative, right?
Facts.
And the examples like that you were kind of giving there says no, this is a no, and this is why this is a no, and you shouldn't do this, and this is why you shouldn't do this. But
Mhm.
what is a yes, and why should you do this? And I think it's extremely important that we talk about that, because again, a person can have a lust for their husband, their fiance, or whoever, and think it's a bad thing, and think that they're not supposed to feel or do that, especially because most of society look at that as a negative, and it's really not, and it's really not supposed to be, right? And so a lot of people use it in the, oh, this person is lusting over someone, or this and that, and we hear that a lot. But when do we hear my husband is lusting me and I'm lusting my husband? When do you hear that, right?
Mhm.
When do you hear, um, I have a strong lustful desire to take my wife here or do that, right? And use it in the context that it's supposed to be used in, and look at it in that way. Because again, that's why I thought this conversation would be so interesting, because um, perception says this, and perception looks at lust in this way. And again, I think that's not true. And I think if we um, just look up the definition and the word of lust, um, it's going to give us take us to a different perspective of how we look at it, and what we think about it.
Hmm.
What's your
Yeah, that's
thoughts?
pretty good. I think though that you have a master of you're a master of twisting things, and
Okay.
you'll try to make it fit in certain
Okay.
situations or
Explain
positions when
how.
it don't go there. But again, that ain't what the overall definition saying. So
Okay.
again,
Let's
you
pull
can
up the
take a pinch
definition.
out of something and try to make it something that is not, and wrong
Let's.
with that. Um, and so even the question was brought up on IG is what is spiritual lust, and
Mhm,
so I didn't even know there was a such thing as spiritual lust. I thought that
mhm.
that couldn't happen, but it can be a spiritual lust to where you want that feeling and those
Yeah.
goosebumps, and you want that, you know, every time you go to church. And sometimes God will hold back that euphoric feeling of you feeling that and tell you, hey, this euphoric feeling is only for a special time. And so you have to understand that God gonna always balance things out. And so with this whole thing called lust, it's absolutely needed, but it's a balance that we have to have with it. And I think most of the time we are off balance and out of whack, even when it comes to food. That's a lust that we have for certain
Yeah.
food. And you
Hmm.
should have your favorite food. And you should be able
Hmm.
to, like we do in America, eat what we want. But again, if you overdo it, like
Hmm.
we always overdo it, then you get a false balance. And that's why our population is overweight. That's why our population is considered greedy. And that's why we are oftentimes find ourselves in trouble because we have a problem with balancing things out. So again, I don't think it's nothing wrong with lust unless you're doing something wrong with it, but it's always going to come back to a balancing factor. Are you balancing out the power that you have, or are you just taking advantage of it because it's there and because it's available? And oftentimes we do that in not just one area, but in many areas of our life. We take advantage of the situation and then we find ourselves in trouble. So everything gonna go back to balance, in my opinion.
Bruh, I think it does, but I think we use this. I think we using this word, and I'm asking particularly, what is good about this, right?
Mhm.
And what do you feel is good about this? And
So if you ask me that particularly, what is good about lust is that if it's a strong desire for anything, there's some things that you have to have a strong desire for.
okay.
We should have a strong desire to want to succeed in school and education and business and family. We
Hmm.
should have a strong desire to want to be successful altogether.
Hmm.
But I think it's again when it comes to balance, what do you want more than anything and everything? And that thing that you should want more than anything and everything is God first. For married people, your significant other first. And
But
so it's still gonna come back to order and balance with whatever you do. And you gotta be careful with it because again, sometimes, bro, again, I think we put lust in that driver's seat without even knowing. So how many times do your desire for that thing comes in between what you're supposed to be learning along the way because you can neglect some important things and you can't take everybody with you and you can't take everything with you. There's going to have to be some sacrifices that's made. And so at that sacrificial offering, are you willing to sacrifice what's most important over what you want? Because again, everything can't go. And so it's just so many ways that you could think about it and
I
put it in its proper context.
I totally agree with you. As far as lust, what lust is a strong desire, and um, sometimes we can take that strong desire and do the wrong thing with it. Sometimes we can take it and do the right thing with it. And I agree with you with saying it has to have a we have to have a balance with it.
Mhm.
My thing is, I think you're looking only at 50% of this, and you're on this side and saying what not to do than what to do, right?
I'm just thinking
Um,
about some of most of the definitions of it said
but
it's an uncontrollable desire.
so,
I don't think that God wanted for us to have a strong desire for something that's
but
uncontrollable.
sometimes it can be uncontrollable. It's not a lust is not an uncontrollable desire. Sometimes it can be an uncontrollable desire. That's just, and with saying that is saying if you take this medicine, this can happen. They give you a whole bunch of things that can happen. It doesn't mean it does happen, right? And I understand what you're saying because, and this is why I was saying this conversation is so important because educating the people and educating ourselves and saying that, yes, lust can be this, this, and this, but it also can be this, this, and this.
And I'm
You see,
saying that it is a good thing or it can be a good thing is
sure.
it's very rare. It's very rare. And
It's
so
rare because we're
being that
uneducated.
it is very rare, I wouldn't lead with it's a good thing and you should have it. I wouldn't lead with
Tell
that, but
me why
that's
you think lust is rare. I mean, a good thing of lust is rare.
because first of all, when the Bible talks about lust, one of the scriptures that pop in my head that says it's better to marry than to burn with desire. And
Okay.
so what that writer is saying is because you have this desire and
Mhm.
you don't know what to do with it, or it's so uncontrollable, it's better for you to marry so that you can put it in this proper context.
But bro,
So
you're
that's
adding
saying that
what you keep on doing is adding
because you
your.
can't get rid of it, I'm going to give you a place to use it. So again, it can be used for some good, but it's when
But,
you look at today's
mhm,
society and you look at relationships,
sure.
most of them are driven by lust.
But
And it's
Renz,
not just
what
sexual
you're
lust,
doing
it's
is adding your this into it instead of saying this is what it is because you're biased with this particular conversation, and I don't think you even realize how biased you are because you're going into instead of looking at this from just a neutral perspective, you're going straight to, but it can be this,
and I think you going straight to it's a
and
good
then
thing. And I
I'm not.
think you're
But
going
what I'm
to it's a
doing is
good
I'm
thing.
looking at it, and I agree with you wholeheartedly
Yeah.
that
So you
that
bias
a
on your
lot of
level,
these,
and I'm telling you facts. I'm telling you real facts with
that a
mine.
lot of
And the
these
only thing
things
you saying is
can
that
happen, and then what you'll do is say, well, the Bible says this, right? And looking at that, and
I ain't just telling you what the Bible says. I'm telling you
Mhm.
what real life situation saying.
Okay.
I'm telling you what the divorce rate say. I'm telling you what people that throw marriage in your face but cheat every day say. I'm telling
Mhm.
you what the whole society as a whole is facing in general. That population of people using it for the good that you talked about it is. Only thing I'm saying is that what's true and that's slim. That's very slim. Does it happen? Absolutely. But I'm telling you that as a whole, that the body of Christ and believers and people in general aren't using it for that. And so the only how we get better is that we unpack ways that we can be better at it by understanding where we're messing up first. So that's my approach and my thought
Well,
process to the whole conversation. If we don't acknowledge where we're failing at, where we're messing up at, then we can't begin to become better at it because we didn't even acknowledge where we're going wrong at.
bro, I think you need to acknowledge it, but I think you also need to understand what it is and not understand just this side. Again,
So
we have to have a
So
broad
what is it then?
we have to have
What is lust?
we
I'm
have to
asking you, what is lust?
one second. We have to have a broad perspective of what lust is. Lust is a strong desire or feeling to do this, and lust can be a variety of different things, right? It can be uncontrollable. Lust can be that. Lust can be controllable, right? But again, with talking about this and understanding it's that this is a strong desire to have a feeling, and that's what lust is. Lust is a feeling, um, a strong desire, right? But can it be bad? Yes, it can. Can it be good? Yes, it can. But my thing is, I want to focus. I want to make sure that we're talking straight down the middle with this. And you may say, okay, but this is what I see the majority of the time. And that may be true. That may be absolutely true. But I think we also have to be intelligent enough to say, okay, but it's this side of it also. And looking at this and not just going negative and saying it's negative and this is why and not. And I actually said, okay, hey, what's positive about it? And you kind of went to, well, it's this, but then it's this, and this is why. And my thing is, we have to be neutral and understand if we're going to educate others, it can't just be a one-sided thing. It can't. And we can't just lean on this side and say, well, it's this. And because my experience was this, and this, okay, can it be this? And should it be this? And should we educate people on the positives of what it is and what it can be or what it should be? You understand what I'm saying?
Again, if that's how you choose to lead, then that's
Mhm.
how you choose. We agree to disagree. I
Okay.
choose to say, okay, if we're gonna get out of this stronghold that
Mhm.
lust has us under, this headlock that it has us
Mhm.
in, let's understand how did we get there. If we understand how we get there, then we have a better chance
So
of
what
winning.
explain to me what is a stronghold or what are some strongholds that you feel like lust has over people or can have?
How we approach relationships. Most of the time, people approach relationships with the question, what do you bring to the table? Instead of who you are in God. How
Mhm.
can we increase each other, add to each other, and allow God to multiply us?
Mhm.
It shouldn't be what the person even physically look like. We all want to be attracted to who we like. Like, let's be real at the same time. Physical attraction is real, but
Mhm.
if that's what you lead by and you're not leading by what a person's true intentions are and what their heart is, and how can this benefit your legacy and your namesake? If you're not leading with those things, then the wrong thing is in the driver's seat. And the wrong thing is in the driver's seat because your desire for what your flesh want over what your spirit needs is
Mhm.
completely opposite. And those two gonna always be in a wrestle with each other. Again, I just wanna, unpack how did we get where we are? How did we get to the point to where divorce is 50 to 60%? How did we get here? We got there
Mhm.
because of that desire being in the wrong place. And again, if we're gonna reverse engineer out of that, if we're
Mhm.
gonna get from being stuck to get back to or if it was ever in the right place in the first place, if we're gonna get to that point, it's gonna come off of us learning. And so we just gotta deal with it differently and unpack what we need to unpack. So,
You know,
that's my thought on that.
okay, I'm gonna go opposite with you on that. I think I think
Whoa.
you're saying the divorce rate, but what about people staying together because of the lust they have for each other, right? And
Wow.
and I think that's a great thing, right?
Wow.
And
Unbelievable. That's all I'm
to
gonna say.
to want to lust your partner or to want to be in love and lust with someone, I think is a great thing, right? And I'm just saying,
We.
looking at this and saying, okay, do you want to find someone that you do lust or and that lusts you and that you guys can create this bond together that's going to keep you together? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying my mind is not just on this. My mind is on, okay, yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly that that can happen, but this can happen also. And I think we need to look at that and then look at the people that are married and lusting over each other and saying, this is what's keeping us together. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's extremely important.
Again,
And a lot of
you
times I
you
think
flip
that
you
is,
flip the you flip the question to make it fit for you. But
no, I'm just saying a lot of
again,
times I think
if
that's the
that's what you're
why.
doing,
Why are you're
sure,
saying these people are divorced, but okay, why are these people together?
sure.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I don't. I don't.
Okay.
I never heard somebody say we're together because we lust for each other, and No, that ain't why y'all together. That's not
Well,
why two people are not together because they lust for each other.
bro.
You want to know the answer? That evidently you don't know after being
Okay,
married for
you
20
said
years. So
your
I'm throwing a shot
definition.
at you as I give my point. I like throwing shots at people. I
Your
love it.
definition of lust is a strong desire or strong feeling for each other. Correct?
Right. So what I'm saying is this, brother. You and your wife didn't make it 20 years because y'all lust for each other. You and your wife made it 20 years because y'all love each other.
We love each
Love,
other and
love.
we
Stop,
lust.
stop, stop. Somebody with knowledge is talking. Love is in the driver's seat, not lust. Lust can't get in the driver's seat.
Friends,
Love
friends,
covers a multitude of sin. Love is her
friends.
being
You
able to fix
cannot
your
make a
plate.
cake without flour.
Love is her being able to fix your plate even when you say silly
You
stuff like you
cannot
saying
make a
now.
cake without
Love
flour.
is what get it, not lust, sir.
No,
So ain't nobody gonna say
friends. It's
we're
not.
together because of
Again,
lust. Nobody with no
it's
sense
called
gonna say that.
ingredients. Part of the ingredients to
I'm
this
gonna try to bring the
recipe,
conversation down to your understanding because it's going over
part of
your head
this,
right now.
part of the ingredients to this recipe, because it's not just one thing, and it's never going to just be one thing. Again, part of the ingredients is we like each other, we lust each other, we love each other. You understand what I'm saying? All this is an ingredient to having, yes, a marriage for 20 years.
And I never
If,
said that it wasn't. The only
if,
thing I
if, if,
told
if
you, the only thing I told you, Peanut Brain, is that it still can't be in the driver's
you
seat.
go ahead
Love.
and you calling me Peter, bro.
I
Go
never
ahead.
said that it's not an important ingredient. It's
Okay.
absolutely an important ingredient in order for things to be what they are. The only thing I
Okay.
said is that that's not what you lead with, and that's not what's in the driver's seat. So you missing my point.
Friends. Friends.
You absolutely need
Friends.
lust, a strong
Again,
desire for each other.
I'm going to say this, and this again is parts of your relationship that you have to lead with that. You have to. It's parts that you're going to get in a relationship, especially if you're going to last this long. That you know what, I don't like you right now, but I lust you. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to go through different ups and downs and different phases of relationships. And all of this is needed, brother. All of it is needed. I need to have a lust, a strong desire for this woman, especially to last this long. And she needs that for me. Again, God
I
don't make
agree.
mistakes. When he put all of this together and even put lust out there because it's necessary. It's necessary for us to have. It's necessary for us to do. But again, the the smartest thing you said today was we have to have a balance with it, and I agree totally. And what that balance is saying, I'm not just going to lean 90% on this side because this is how I view what this is. That's not what it is, brother. I'm just saying, looking at this word lust and how it can be beneficial to you, I understand. And yes, we do definitely need to look at how it can be negative, but we also have to look at the positive and say, you know what? This word has got me in trouble, or this thing has got me in trouble a lot of times because of the desire of it, or this, and this. Again, people that are addicted to drugs, that word drug has got them in the same situation. It
Mhm.
just depends what your drug is and what your desire is, and this conversation is about what is your understanding of it. And I think if we have a good understanding of what it is, how it works, and what it can do positive or what it can do negative, then we're in a better position to handle this and not fall into the trap of lust uncontrollably or lust in the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? We want to do lust in the right way. But I think we need to talk about the wrong and also talk about the right, but not just focus on the wrong because this is what I see and this is what I see the majority of the time. No, I think we just need to look at it from a neutral perspective and say, okay, what is this and what is that? What's your next question, my brother?
That's exactly what I said in the beginning. And I unpacked
I,
I unpacked different.
I love,
different
you know what?
variations of it. That's
I
why I'm
love
glad they
this.
got this thing
I love it.
called
Anytime
playback.
this conversation get
In the
me and you heated,
beginning, in
I
the
love it.
beginning, you were very biased, and you still biased because the only thing you're saying is the good. The
Okay.
good could come from it is people could stay together and da, 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 da.
Friends.
You unpack the good. My definition unpack both.
Only
But
reason why
again,
I'm
I
going
get it.
that route
I
is
get it.
because I hear you going the opposite route. And all I'm saying is I agree with you. Each time you said that, I agreed with you.
No,
But
you didn't.
but I'm
No, you
asking
didn't. You
I'm asking you the positive on the other side because again, it has to be neutral, brother. It has to
no, it
be.
don't. No, it don't have to be neutral.
Okay, well it doesn't in your opinion. Give me your next question and we can move on.
Okay, so you you told us how lust can be good. Now tell us how can it be a negative? How can it be bad? How do people how do people use it for bad? Go
Oh,
ahead. How do people because you said you want to be neutral. I'm
I
neutral.
absolutely do. Well,
Okay, so how do people use lust for
I,
bad?
I think lust can be negative when you allow the feeling of lust to take you out of control because that's what lust does. It can take you out of control, right? And lust can make you do radical things or feel some kind of feel kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it
No, no,
and
no. Use that same energy that you use when you was talking about that one. Get excited and yeah, I want the same energy.
I'm
Go
cool.
ahead.
I'm cool.
Oh,
But
okay. Okay.
but looking at the negatives to it, um, I've seen people have lust and stalk people, which I think is totally out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? I think we can lust the wrong thing, and I think we can have lust for different things and situations that we shouldn't, whether it's sexual, whether it's somebody else's wife, whether it's somebody else's husband, whether it's food. And I think we can lust all of these things. And I think sometimes with lust is overindulging, right? I think that's what lust is in certain areas, like when you were talking about food. And so I think a lot of times we can lust some things and overindulge in them and that can be a negative and it can be bad. I think like I said, wanting something that you're not supposed to have can be a lustful thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
um I'm kind of torn on this one when it comes to lust. um Looking at something that or seeing something and lusting over it,
Yeah.
and I say I'm torn with that. um I think that's more of a lustful nature. You know what I'm saying? Which and looking at that and saying sometime with lust you need to get counseling or help. You know what I'm saying? And sit back and say, okay, hey, you know what? This is because again, what we're talking about is something that's out of control that we don't have control over. You know what I'm saying? That's taking control, and it allows things to take control over you as far as whether it's a good looking woman, whether it's porn, whether it's,
Mhm.
um, you know, you can lust a job, you
Mhm.
can overindulge in that. I mean, it's so many things that you can lust. So,
Yeah, that was good. So it's amazing to me how you said everything I said and backed up my point, and you really turned it to the Rizzo without saying it. So it's just amazing to me, and it just let me know that oftentimes in your argument you
guys,
really
we're
don't
taking
have.
applications for a new co-host.
Please, I've been waiting on this moment.
Oh, my brother. Um,
I think, bro, when it comes to this thing called lust, like I was led doing this research to study Samson, and I knew that Samson dealt with sexual lust,
yes.
but I didn't know that he dealt with the lust for revenge. I didn't know that it had him selfish. It had him on a mission for self. This thing called lust, it can pull you in a down spiral. It
Yep.
could be like an avalanche and it get bigger and bigger, greater and greater. It could be that because lust don't just come in one form.
Mm.
You see it in one area on the surface, but underneath that surface, if you don't get that thing in check, it's pulling on you. And you see it because now this person that's lusting, now they're lying because they got to cover up who they're lusting with and what they're lusting for.
Yeah.
And so I see how it has a gravitational pull. And it wasn't that I was only looking at it negative, but if I don't deal with, what's causing us from being our best version of ourselves, then we're gonna be in trouble. And so that's what I see with lust. So again, this man named Samson, he's gambling now. Can you guess this riddle? And his wife told the riddle. So now he had to go kill 30 innocent people in order to get the clothes to pay up his debt. And so now you having to pay debt, and now you're on this revenge mission and this revenge tour because you trying to get back what you lost because that desire has taken more from you than you knew that you had to give or to spend. And so this strong desire, when it's left uncontrollable, it becomes a wildfire. And again, fire is good when it's used for the right purpose. But if it's a wildfire, it's gonna cost a lot of money and destroy a lot of crops, and you're gonna have to pay back millions and billions. And the most important thing is we can't get our time back. And so when I look at it, overall, I'm just like I'm wild at it, and I'm wild at how many people are blinded by it and don't even know they blinded by it.
Yeah. What is one of the first things in your life where you experience lust?
I experienced lust at a young age.
Hmm.
I knew early on in kindergarten. Don't laugh, but it's true. In kindergarten, I knew that I had a strong desire for a female. I didn't want to sit by the boys. I wanted to sit by the girls.
Hmm.
I actually told the guy, like, hey, man, don't sit by me. I wanted to sit by the girls. So I knew that it was always a strong desire. Don't laugh. Don't
Guys,
ask me my
no,
life story. Then
guys,
I'm
Jesse
vulnerable
is his
enough to tell
daddy.
you.
Jesse Addison is his daddy, and this is why
I'm
this
vulnerable enough to tell
this
you
happened
my
to a child.
life, and you see how
This
you
is
do. That's why people don't be vulnerable. But I knew even back then that I had a strong desire for the opposite sex, and so just growing up wanting the right thing, but for the wrong reason. As a kid, I couldn't wait to get grown so that I could hump. I couldn't wait. I was a kid, yeah. Like, if you want me to tell the truth, I'm gonna tell it. 11, 12 years old, like, I can't wait to get grown so I could do it because I just thought it was so fascinating. And so when you get a hold to knowledge and information before it's your time, you don't know what to do with it and you want to rush to get there, and that's that strong desire. And so in high school, bro, I was reading books on the female anatomy and how to do this and do that. Like, I educated myself on it because I wanted to be good at it, not understanding like you doing the right thing for the wrong reason. And so the consequence of that was, we tell stories, but what's the consequence? The consequence was, here's this young man, 20 years old, that's a professional boxer, doing good financially, but I rushed and made a family before I was ready. My daughter was born a week before my 21st birthday. And so instead of having that knowledge on what it took to be a mature man and to, truly be the head of the household, I was having sex, but without having the education with it. And the result of it ended with me, having two kids and never being married to their mother or having to co parent. And so lust is fun, uh fulfilling that desire was fun, but the consequence hurt, and the consequence costs time and it costs money, and it's going to always take you to a place that you never wanted to be in. And so there was nights that I barred up and cried tears because I was only able to see my kids every other weekend. There was nights where I had to trust that somebody else would do the job that I was not able to do, and that's be the head of the household. To truly trust, when they had a stepfather, that he would be that man that protect them if somebody came in at night. And so again, lust is fun. We can high five on it, we could talk about it, but what about the results that they bring you? And so that's just one example, man. Just wanted to give that illustration.
Bro, um, my mom was explaining it to me,
Hmm.
um, and she her and my dad um, was on drugs at a point in time,
Mm-hmm.
and they were explaining. She was explaining to me. I was like, okay, well, why don't you just stop? And she ended up having to go to treatment,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the first time I heard that word or understood it.
Mm.
She was explaining to me, um, it's a like a lust or a strong desire that you can't get over,
Right.
right? And so, um, learning that at like 12 or 13 years old, and I didn't, for the longest time, I was probably 40 years old when I started drinking alcohol, right? Um, I never smoked or any of this, but it was because
Mm-hmm.
me seeing that situation and understanding the strong desire or the lust that different things can have over you,
Yeah.
right? And even with relationships, um, always kind of kept control over them because I didn't want to be in a situation to where um, that has control over me relationship wise, or if it, sometimes you you know you can't help it, but growing up I kind of kept a stiff arm to um, falling in love or being like that with someone
Mm-hmm.
because understanding what it can do to you, because certain things can have lust and you don't have control over, and I always wanted
Absolutely.
to be in control over my situations or what have you, and then especially growing up and seeing it, seeing how your parents don't have control over certain things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I say, I think looking at this word lust and understanding it, and I think everybody's definition or understanding is going to be different based on their interaction with it,
Yeah.
right?
It is.
And I agree with you. I think a lot of people first interaction with lust is going to be sexual. Um, Mine was a little bit different because again, her explaining that to me, and that's the actual word she used. It put an automatic aha in my head,
Yeah.
and her telling me, "Hey, you don't want anything ever to have control over you or um, giving you a urge to do this, or this. You want to be in control of your life and everything." Because she was just like it's like a downward spiral.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, that's why I said, looking at that and understanding that, I think everybody's, a lot of people, understanding of what lust is going to be different, and how they view it and how they look at it. And I think for a lot of people, it's going to be life experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's going to be life experience. Yeah.
Exactly. Your life experience going to shape everything. It's going to shape your perspective.
Yes.
And again, it is, more to everything than your life experience. But again, our life experience will often shape the way that we view
Well,
something. And so we got to continue to take on a different perspective. And that's one of the things that I like about education is that it can give you a different perspective without you having that experience.
yeah.
But the best teacher gonna be, what you learn,
Yeah.
heads on. But one thing that I learned about lust is that it don't just affect you; it affect those around you. It
Yeah.
affect your whole community. You know what I'm saying? It can give a certain
Yeah.
title
Yeah.
a bad name. And so, especially like in the church, because
Mhm.
a certain number of pastors or ministers are living one way and
Mhm.
doing things one way, society will feel as a whole that,
Are you a
you
pastor?
know, no, I'm not. They will feel as a whole. I'm just using an example, brother.
Okay,
They will feel as a
I'm just
whole
asking. I
that
wasn't saying that was you. I'm just
they would. I first of all, I ain't did nothing. I've been born again, healed, delivered, and set free. You the one who need the bless, or you the one who need. You the one who need to be baptized every single week.
Oh my God.
But in all seriousness, bro, because some are doing things incorrectly, it'll give the indication that all are, and one is not all, and all is not one. It's just
Thank
it's
you.
not like that,
Yeah.
and so you'll find yourself having to battle and defend yourself on something that had absolutely nothing to do with you because somebody else gave it a bad name. And so we got to be very careful with that, because that desire to give marriage or the institution of marriage a bad name just because some cheat don't mean that all are. There's some people who have beautiful marriages and that are faithful and put God first. And so again, we just got to be careful with that, because society will try to put blinders over our eyes to think all are the same, and it's definitely not that. When it comes to this thing called lust on a
Didn't I
personal
say,
level,
did that, is that what I was trying to explain to you?
I don't know what you explain, and I
Oh
don't
God.
care at this point. I don't care what you
Oh
explain.
my God. What?
I don't know. Brother, I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know you. I'm here for the people. I'm
What?
here for the people, and I
Oh
don't
my
even know you. So
God.
we just gonna let that be that. Um. So personally, what do you want to improve with this thing called lust?
Bro, I think first and foremost, um, to understand what it is. I think
Hmm.
that's the first thing, first and foremost. And I think we need to understand what it is and how it can help you and how it can hurt you,
That's
right?
good.
And I think when we know that and when we understand that, um, we can make educated decisions on what we want to do, and and then we can know what's happening to us. That's like
Absolutely.
going to a doctor and saying, I feel this way, but I don't know what it is, right?
Hmm.
And again, this conversation, um, on the goods and bads about it is saying, let's understand what this is. Let's
Hmm.
understand how this can uplift you, and let's understand how this can bring you down, right? But I think if we don't know that, if we only know this portion, right, then it's not going to be beneficial to us. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's not going to be beneficial. And to look at it and say, this feeling or this urge or this desire, right? Because if you're going through it, how do you get over
Yeah.
it? And how do you get through, right? You get through by understanding first and foremost what it is, understanding how it how it can react negatively and how it can react positively, and then we can make educated decisions on how to treat it correctly. Because you can go to the doctor, and if you don't know what you got, you can't just take aspirin for everything, and you can't just treat this way because this is what it is. You have to understand and know exactly what it is, so he can subscribe you what you need to be subscribed for, or you can understand, okay, this is what it is. This is why I'm feeling like this. This is why I'm acting like this. Um, if people don't really understand or know what lust is, and say, I don't know why, I I just gotta I just want to be by, or I'm just this, I'm this, and I want to marry her and this, and it's a lot of people out here lusting over people, tearing their whole life up because they think it's love and it's lust. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? And don't understand what it is, or tearing their life up, and they thinking it's lust and not love. And again, it can go both ways, but you have to understand what this is you're feeling and what it is really,
Yeah.
and how to go about it and how to look at this situation and say, okay, this is this is what I'm feeling, and this is this. You know what I'm saying?
And
And
that's really the smartest thing you've ever said.
God.
It is. But I think it's important to know the why. That was very intelligent. I'm actually surprised that you were able to channel that from who you are, being Pernell Maurice. But
Thank you.
that's wonderful. I even thought about a concept, bro, with this thing called lust, and the
Mhm.
the portion that I had to myself, and even asked the Holy Spirit is like, are we able to? Should we lust for God? Should we lust for God? And
Mhm.
so I had to research it. I had to even call and ask people who been studying
Mhm.
theology and all that for years.
Mhm.
And in short, majority of the people was like, no,
It's
the
not true.
characteristic of the word lust changed the nature of who God is.
Mhm.
And so not your definition, but their definition. And for the people who actually research and look it up, it was saying no, that, you know, to lust for something means that that thing consume you. And so we're not supposed to allow nothing to consume us because it'll take away from the nature of it. And
Okay.
so it just again made me put it lust in its proper perspective of saying yes, because God made us in his image and created us in his likeness, but he
Mhm.
made us a little different from him
Right.
because God didn't need nobody. He's God and God
Mhm.
alone. But we need somebody. We're wired to need the opposite sex.
Mhm.
Anybody who don't think that, they just not being rational, or just don't think that they need nobody at all. You need somebody. And so being that we need somebody, it's just best to put it in this proper content,
Mhm.
because if not, then you'll be out of order, off balance, and eventually out of whack. And so being that you need somebody is just all about going about it the right way, the mature way, the way that brings forth knowledge. Because if you do it the right way, it's gonna bring forth a blessing. But if not, then it's gonna take you to a place of headache and heartbreak. And we're witnessing that over and over in today's time, where we walking away from each other, blocking each other, and doing all these things that we were never supposed to be at odds anyway, when we could just take that time to truly learn what this thing called love really is.
Um, bro, I personally believe if you can lust a person, I think you should have a strong desire for God. That's just my opinion on that.
Hmm.
Um, and I look at it, and again, you said something earlier. You said everything has a balance, right? And again, looking at what lust is, you have your good and you have your bad. And so looking at that and saying, should you have a strong desire for God? Yes, I think you should. And do I think you should have a lust for God? To a certain extent, yes, I do. Again, that's what you were saying, balance. And so looking at that and saying, yes, I want to lust God. If I'm going to lust my wife and love her and want to have a lust or this feeling for her, why wouldn't I want to have that for God?
Because again, when you look at the definition and you extract principles from the definition, lust is always conditional. And so when
It's
God
always,
wants us to
it's, you,
come,
you said it's always what?
lust is conditional. Lust is always conditional on every definition you look for. And so when it comes to God, God is saying, come to me in spirit and in truth. And
Mhm.
so being that lust is a part of the flesh,
Should you
and
love God?
lust is a part of the flesh and
I'm
not the
just asking you
spirit.
a question. Should you love God?
Okay, I'm gonna go again. Lust is a part of the flesh, but love isn't. So you can't mix the two. We're talking about theological principles, and based on the Bible right now. Again, when you do the study on it, it's going to tell you just a different perspective. And so you can't mix the two with God and your relationship with him, because again, lust going to always be something of the flesh. That's all it is. Where about love isn't. And so love has the ability to go into places where lust doesn't. If
It,
we didn't have flesh, if we didn't have flesh, then we wouldn't lust. But because we do have flesh, we automatically have lust. So what God is saying, you can't use that when it comes to me in order to get me. You can only get me by way of your spirit.
yeah.
And so, the two make sense. And
So
when you go back, just go back and research. Just it's okay
so
to say that you
so
don't know. Go
so
back
you're
and research it.
I'm asking you. So you're saying that
That
Um,
lust is conditional, and God don't want us coming to Him with conditions. That's what I'm saying.
so how is lust conditional?
How is it not conditional?
I'm just asking you, how is it? I'm just
It's
asking.
conditional
So
because it's predicated to your flesh. It's to fulfill this flesh. And to be honest, bro,
it's
there's
to
certain
fulfill a
things
desire.
there's certain things that this flesh just needs because we are in a fleshly body. So there's certain things that we're gonna need, and we can't get away from it.
Okay.
We can't get away from eating food. We can't get away from certain things that the flesh needs. I'm not saying that we don't need it. We absolutely do. If not, you'll just be a weird person that's living on the island by yourself. But it's certain things that we need. But I'm just simply making the point that it's always conditional. And so we say this, but it's really not true that I love this person unconditionally. We say that, but I don't even think we're geared towards that. I don't. I think we want to be geared towards that, but we're not geared to love unconditionally. Let your wife stop doing some of the things that she do. Let her stop washing her booty and taking care of the things around the house that she take care of. And you're gonna be affected. And the lust that you have for her is going to be affected. Why? Because lust is conditional. You asked me that, and I can tell you 100 principles associated with it. But if your mind is only stuck on it's unconditional, then that's what you're gonna believe. And I got time today, so we can stay here to 12 o'clock. I can stay here to 12 o'clock.
You know what? 1 second.
It's very conditional. So
Is lust conditional?
Could you tell me a bit more about what you mean by that? I want to make sure I understand what you're asking so I can give
I'm
you an
asking, is the word lust or the definition of lust, is that conditional?
Lust itself is typically defined as an intense, overwhelming desire, often focused on sexual craving, but it can also refer to a strong yearning for power, money, or possessions. Whether it's considered conditional often depends on the context. For instance, from a moral or religious standpoint, it's often viewed as negative or problematic, while in psychology, it's seen as a natural human drive driven by biological and neurological processes.
Correct.
Does that perspective help clarify things, or were you thinking about a specific type of condition?
No, I think that clarifies it 100%, but thank you so much. And I'm talking to Lorenzo. You know who he is, don't you? Okay. So the perspective, again, I think this is where we are different at the perspective you're coming at this from. You're looking at it 100% biblically, and not.
No, I'm looking at it as 100% facts.
I'm just saying,
not just biblical. So tell me one time without using Siri where lust isn't conditional. Tell me one time where it's not.
You said where lust isn't conditional?
Yeah, tell me where it's not conditional.
Me lusting for my wife, what conditions come with that?
Because she's your wife. You don't just lust for
what's
her
the
for
conditions?
nothing. You lust for her because you want sex. You lust for her because you want something, and you get something out of it. Again, and what you're getting out of it is pertaining
it's a feeling
to the
that
flesh.
I have. It's a feeling that I have for her, but I don't want anything because I lust her. I'm
You're
not
lying.
asking for.
You're lying. You're lying.
I'm not asking for anything.
You're lying to yourself,
bro.
bro.
It's people, Rance. It's people.
There's no such thing as I lust for something and I don't want nothing out of it. There's no such thing as that.
It's people that can't have sex with their partner, but they still lust them. They still
because they want to have sex. They can't because they can't, but they still want to.
Sir.
And lust don't have to be physical, but it's still conditional. Physical don't always mean conditional.
What are the conditions?
The condition is it could be a touch, it could be a hug, it could be the presence of their time. It's still conditional. You cannot have lust without having a condition. Tell me how. If you can tell me how, then I'll admit that I learned something new. If anybody could tell me how can lust not be conditional?
Rance, I don't think, I'm just saying my personal opinion. I think a lot of times it is conditional, but I don't think.
It ain't no a lot of times. It's every time, like I said.
And the reason why I say
It ain't no a lot of times. It's
Okay,
every time.
let me show you why it's not conditional.
Go ahead.
I can have a lust for Halle Berry. I lust her. What are the conditions?
The conditions is deep down in your heart, you wish she'd say hi to you and give you a hug, and you want something.
No,
you can't
I
get
don't.
it, but you want it.
I
You
don't. I
cannot lust
absolutely
without
don't.
having conditions, brother. It's
Rand,
impossible.
it's so many people out here that people
That
lust
was
on.
a weak example, and that's not true.
Oh my God.
I would like to have a conversation with somebody who got some sense, because you can't lust without conditions, like I said. Oh, I
Okay.
just like this person. I don't want nothing in return.
Rand,
But then when you lay down and you masturbate and you thinking about that person.
Rand,
But when you lay down and you're masturbating, you're
there's
thinking
a
about
lot
that
of
person,
people
but
out
you
here
don't want
that you can admire and lust over, but you absolutely don't want anything from them.
lies. Yeah. You ain't hear the example I said. I said, but when you lay down and you're masturbating, you're thinking about those people.
I ignored you because you ignorant. Okay. Again, sometimes you just have to ignore ignorance. Okay.
Yeah, that ain't ignorance. That's the truth. I know people don't want to tell the truth.
No, I'm telling the truth. I'm just saying it's so many people out here that can have a desire for someone or a lust over someone, but again, it's just a feeling, brother. And but you want to take
it comes with conditions, brother.
What are the conditions? What are the conditions?
The conditions is this, brother. If we wasn't in this flesh, then we wouldn't have that desire to even have lust. We have that desire to have lust because we are spiritual beings having a earthly experience. Back in the garden, the first dispensation, when it was innocence, lust did not become there until Eve looked and seen that knowledge was good to the eye. That's the first time that lust came in there. Lust got her to change her mind on that thing that, according to scripture, God said don't touch. And then when she looked and seen that it was good, what did she do? She touched it. And so it's been a saying that, I really believe true. If you look the first time, it's a mistake. If you look the second time, then it's a choice. And so you got to watch even when you look. Sometimes you can't do that double take. The first time it was a mistake. I've been at church, big booty walked by, fucking wanted to bite it. And so I had to put my mind on the Lord. You got to put your mind on the Lord. If I look once, that was a mistake. But if I look twice at all that, and you just want to just bite it, now that's a choice that you're choosing, and that's lust. But again, you ain't allowed to be real with yourself.
Note to self: you ever get a church, he's not getting on the fool. Note to self. Okay.
And if people act like if people act like those thoughts did not pop in their minds, then I don't think they've been honest with each other.
God.
It's one thing for the thought to pop in your mind. It's another thing for you to entertain it. Now, if I allow those thoughts to stay in my mind and replay over and over and don't try to battle those thoughts, then pretty soon you real bite it if she walk by and gonna stand right there in front of you.
I'm married and I still don't want to bite the booty. Okay?
Yeah, well, that's because
I'm just saying,
you know why? Can I tell you why you don't want to bite it? Because your education on biting it ain't what it's supposed to be. If you was
good,
if you was truly educated on biting it, you would want to bite it. Yeah, stay away from it. Please stay away from it. You're missing out on a lot. Please stay away. Don't touch that tree.
Oh my God. But brother, we out of here. We better get out of here because
we're gonna be back dealing with
you. Enough of you today. Okay.
I have too.
I'm gonna say this, guys. This was so good. I wanna I think in a couple of weeks we're gonna hit this again.
I would like to as well.
Yeah.
Because what you're gonna realize is you came off very definitive, and then when you were no longer definitive, you basically said what I said, and I just watched you. And a few times I raised my eyebrow, say exactly what I said about what it is, but it's so much.
You know what happened when you raise your eyebrow? You know what happened when you raise your eye? That's the first time you'd have hair on top of your head. So do it again.
That's very hurtful, but I've learned to
Now you
laugh
see
and keep
how it
going.
feels.
But man, in all seriousness, man, I want us to, continue to pray and to understand that lust can have us blinded.
Mhm.
And like my man Samson in the Bible, he ended up gambling with telling this woman where his strength was.
Mhm.
And that's how sometimes we gamble with
Mhm.
certain things. We gamble with it. And if you keep gambling, there's going to be a time where you strike out. There's going to be a time where you crap out. There's going to be a time where you lose and you lose big. And so there's certain things that we can't gamble with. We have to protect our peace. We have to protect our minds, and we have to protect our hearts. The Bible tells us to guard our hearts. You're not supposed to let any and everybody in your safe place, your peace, your mind, your thought process. You're not even supposed to tell everybody your dreams, because if you do, most of the time it's driven by lust and not by love. And so we just got to be careful with all that we do. We're in a time where everything matters. We're in a time where people are losing their minds like never before because they're not guarding it. And so mental health is real, not 1 month, but every month. Everything is real. And so we just got to make sure that we take heed to warning, and that we know the times that we are in, which is really the end times. We got to understand that, and, you know, start relying so much on people's opinion and rely on what the word of God says, and rely on our relationship with the Holy Spirit. We got to put things into proper perspective in order for us to have the knowledge of what God has told us and what he's calling us to be during this time. That's my final thought on that, man. But it's so much that you can unpack, so much that we could have said that we didn't say it. But I thank God for allowing me the patience to deal with your toxicity and to still show love and respect along the way during this journey of unpacking this important conversation. And I'm really just trying to talk a lot because you talk for most
I
of the
already know
show.
you are.
Yeah, you
Again,
talk for most of the show, and I feel like,
again, guys, ignorance will pop up and show itself.
thank you.
You know?
Thank you.
Guys, my final thoughts with this thing called lust is, I think we need to educate ourselves, and I think we need to look at these different things that we can be lustful over and take control over. Again, I had made the example, my first example of what lust is and what lust can be. Um, Brother Lorenzo said this earlier, as far as food, we can lust food, we can overindulge. And I think um, this thing called lust, in my opinion, is overstepping the line, um, and not having a balance of, I can do this, but I can't go this far. And I think a lot of times we're overindulging or doing things that we don't need to do in a lot of areas. But I think, on the other hand, lust can be good. And I think there's a good, healthy lust. And I think we need to understand what it is. And when we understand what it is, how you make someone else feel by lusting them, especially the right person, can make all the difference in the world. It can make all the difference in the world. And so, understanding that and knowing that, and us educating ourselves on that, and saying, you know what, um, let's do everything has its proper perspective. And so that's my final thoughts. My brother, we are out of here. Guys, we are got the hotels and everything like that ready to rock and roll. So Monday we will officially, Monday I will start accepting payment for hotels. First things first, we are not accepting hotels until your activity fee is paid first. Activity fee first, and then we'll book your rooms in your hotels. And we are allowing people to do payment plans or whatever. You don't have to pay it all at once, but you can start paying on it or making payments towards it. The same thing with your activity fee. If you want to make a couple of payments on that, you can do that. It doesn't have to be at one time. So thank you. My brother, great show. Another good one, man. This was a interested, and
It's always interesting, man, when they take you through an emotional roller coaster and
mhm.
you feel some way throughout, and you have ups and downs and ins and outs, but you hold on to the end. So definitely a good show. And just thankful for the opportunity to learn some more things. And I
I,
kid you not, I'm gonna, do some more studying on this because I feel like it's
no,
very important.
definitely.
I feel like it's very important to
I'm
know the right
definitely
thing and to
sending
say the right
this
thing.
tape to your church, to Pastor, what's his name, Smith or Sims. I'm sorry, Pastor Sims, and make sure he
Yeah.
understands you want to bite booties at his church. So I'm gonna let the people.
Well,
Great show, man.
only thing I said
And,
was
and
the
I,
idea. The idea could be there, but
and
it's up to you to
my
entertain
brother,
it.
I'm gonna say this. I appreciate your passion on this because I'm passionate about it and look at it. And like I said, this thing called lust comes from, or the understanding of it comes from your impact, how it impacted you, or when it was introduced to you, and
Mhm.
how you took it and how you view it. And I think that's with a lot of things that affect you and how they affect you are going to be your perspective and what you're standing on. So I understand that. So great show again, my brother. And I will holler at you a little later.
Please don't. Please don't.